Welcome back to Robot Wars, and we're already halfway through the heat stages. Tonight's heat should be a rather interesting heat, I think, so let's head to the Battleboard and check it out. Some very unique designs and some very old veterans dating back to Series 1 with Thermidor up against veterans Exterminator and 31st Seeds TR3. We also have the Kraken newcomers against veterans Tombstone and other fellow newcomers Mutant Flayer. But here is our first fight of the night with 16th Siege Bunker, previously Barricade, up against Terahertz. We've seen them before with Beta and Kilohertz. And the newcomers, Storm Toom! After the last wars, they've rebuilt the Barricade and made the armor much tougher. Not really sure if they needed to, as it was already tough, but hey, your machine. They've also said that this time they'll be able to truly drive upside down, which will affect their pushing power, but the exposed wheels will still prove to be a problem for them. Terahertz! Axebot! John Reach returned to Robot Wars for a third series with a new machine styled similar to Beta from the last wars, but with improvements. All the sides are made to make it very difficult to get underneath it, and the axe will cleave through the armor of the opposition. The weapon runs off CO2, and there's only a limited supply, so they'll have to be careful. And when they fire the axe, it causes the machine to jump up into the air, which will give the opposition an opening to get underneath and attack. Storm 2. Lifter! A 6-wheel drive box bot with a 4-bar lifter and a speed and drive to rival that of Tornado. The speed is extremely quick and the lifting arm is fairly effective. Not great, but effective. The sides are also hard to get underneath, meaning only a rear attack is going to do it. The team has also labeled their machine as a moving hammer, as it'll hammer you into anything and everything, and even out of the arena with enough force. Want to see that? Provided, of course, that they are able to protect their exposed wheels.
Roboteers, stand by.
Bunker, the redesign of Barricade from the past two wars, so I don't need to describe it really, but it's the same thing. Terahertz, John Reed's third machine with the big swinging axe. Looks menacing, by the way. And Storm 2, the 6-wheel drive machine, similar to Tornado, but better, they say.
3, 2, 1, activate!
Well, we'll wait and see, won't we? There's Terahertz dropping their axe down on Bunker as Storm 2 gets underneath as well. All these machines are very, very quick. And Bunker, there's Terahertz. Again, what's going on with the audio? Not audio, the visuals. I had that problem in the last couple of heats now, actually. Terahertz swinging their axe down on Storm 2. What on earth caused that to happen? What happened there? Here comes Bunker underneath Storm 2, and then whoop, up we go. And Storm 2 is now up and over. Interesting. Terahertz pushing away at Bunker. Storm 2 trying to right themselves, and there goes Terahertz, and they've thrown themselves out! Terahertz's own weapons send them out the arena. That's brilliant. I mean, they said it's high-powered, running off CO2, so I guess in a way it does have that type of power. I love it when a machine does that, but especially with an axe, that's interesting. Anyway, getting back to the fight, Bunker pushing away at Storm 2, and Storm 2 are in actual trouble here because since they're not upright, their wedge is now giving major ground clearance, which Bunker is using to their advantage to get underneath Storm 2 and push them around. Of course, Storm 2 does have the 4-bar lifter, but what use can it do when you're up and over? It doesn't have the power really to help Storm 2 right themselves. And now Bunker, and now they've sort of right themselves, but they've righted themselves onto the wall! And the wheels aren't touching the floor! They can't do anything! Storm 2 are stuck on the wall and are immobilized! And that's all Bunker needs to do! Storm 2 counted out and immobilized! Bunker, well done! Once again through to the Gold Rumble! Results don't lie, Bunker through to the gold, Terahertz says sadly in the bronze, Storm 2 there in the silver, next up the Kraken, Tombstone, and Mutant Flayer. The Kraken! Spinner! A deadly monster from the deep with big pincers that have had tons of holes drilled through to help keep the weight down, and a swinging arm with a circular sword to cut up its prey before devouring. The drive was also quite impressive, as we saw in the wildcard against Tornado. They lost, but the drive is still very impressive. And the arm can help the machine self-right, which they'll be doing a fair bit, as the big arms offer quite a ground clearance. Tombstone. Spinner. Back again for a third series where they crashed out again at the Death of Glory to Minotaur, who sent them to the Death of Glory in the first wars. Though they weren't all that impressive in either wars. They've rebuilt their machine for this series and are hoping for a better run in this wars with a brand new spinning bar, but the exposed wheels are still an issue for them, so we'll have to see how they do protecting them. Mutant Flayer. Spinner. A rather interesting looking build with a really dangerous looking weapon. The design of the machine is pipe-shaped, which is rather interesting and not something we've seen before in Robot Wars, and the blade seems like it could do some serious damage to anyone it comes into contact with, although the exposed wheels pose quite a problem for them.
Roboteers, stand by.
The Kraken, with the front claws, the circular saw, and the little wedge scoop at the front. Tombstone back again with the spinning bar. And Mutant Flayer, the barrel-built machine. Beautifully designed, by the way, with the lethal flywheel.
3, 2, 1, activate.
Just looking at Mutant Flayer, you can tell it's going to be difficult to really attack as Mutant Flayer strikes at the weapon of the Kraken. Tombstone trying to get the weapon up to speed, now can. And the weapon of the Kraken's gone. The blade is no more. Something's happened to the Kraken. I think something's been knocked out. You saw a bit of smoke come out of there. What was that, I wonder? Meanwhile, Mutant Flayer pinned against the wall by Tombstone. I think a part of their wheels come off Tombstone. Mutant Flayer. This is great. Well, nothing the Kraken can do, really. They're now a bystander. Tombstone trying to come into... Well, Tombstone down the pit! Oh! And Mutant Flayer's gone! And the Kraken goes through to the Gold Rumble. Tombstone, for the second time now, goes into the bronze. Mutant Flayer goes into the silver. Well, that was a bit hectic, wasn't it? I couldn't even keep up with half of it. Or maybe that's just telling you about my age. Anyway, the Kraken, they're into the Gold Rumble. Tombstone, sadly, into the bronze. And Mutant Flayer into the silver. Next up, TR3, a Terminal 2, and Exterminator. TR3. Flipper. We saw them in the last two wars, and they did quite well in the first wars, making the Death of Glory and then falling in the Silver Rumble last time. They've rebuilt their machine and have eliminated the ground clearance issue at the rear. They claim the Flipper is a lot stronger than before, but they still only have a limited CO2 supply, meaning they'll gradually lose power in their weapon as the fight goes on. Thermidor! Flipper! We saw them in the first wars and sadly crashed out the Chief Cluny by driving themselves into the pit after knocking out Voltronic. The CO2 Flipper is still as strong as it was back then, and the drive is also quite quick too. But the claws offer a ground clearance issue, the CO2 supply is limited, and those huge wheels are extremely exposed. Exterminator! Spinner! Like most of the veterans in this series, they've been with us since the very beginning. The front scoop leading up to the flywheel to rip, mangle, and even blast our machines over and out of the arena is still quite an impressive weapon setup, and the speed of the machine also makes it easy to get out of danger. But there is a ground clearance issue, and they still are not the biggest fan of flippers. Don't really blame them, to be honest.
Roboteers, stand by.
TR3 with the CO2 powered flipper. Thermidor 2 back again after Series 1 with their CO2 flipper. Great to see them, by the way. And Exterminator, the only machine without the flipper in this fight, but instead the scoop and flywheel.
3, 2, 1. Activate.
How will this go? Well, Exterminator flipped them over immediately from the one flip, by the way, from TR3, and now the second flip sends them out the arena, and Thermidor going to investigate. So go, wow, that was quick. And now they're gone. That was super fast. That's one of the fastest we've seen on Robo Wars. TR3. That was speedily fantastic. I was not expecting it to be over that quick, but there you go. Exterminator into the bronze, Thermidor 2 into the silver, and TR3 quickly into the gold. So here's how our rumbles look. The gold rumble with Bunker, the Kraken, and TR3. The silver rumble consisting of Storm 2, Mutant Flare, and Thermidor. Please last longer than 2 seconds, Thermidor. And our bronze rumble with Terahertz and Tombstone, as well as our fallen flywheel machine of Exterminator.
Roboteers, stand by.
Here we go with the bronze rumble. Terahertz with the lethal CO2 powered axe. Tombstone with the bar spinner. And Exterminator with the scoop and the flywheel. 3, 2, 1. Activate. Who will do better here? Well, Tombstone needs to get the weapon up to speed. There you go. Now it's gone. Oh, the axe is gone! The axe of Terahertz has come off! Look at this! There! One strike there and it's gone. The weapon of Terahertz is gone. They have no weapon now. Exterminator pushing Tombstone into the wall. And now Tombstone are in real trouble and they've pinged off Terahertz and have gone out. Well, there they go. And you know, Tombstone both times has made the Death or Glory. They did it in Series 1, they did it in Series 2. They have failed to do that this time round. They are gone. Now, Terahertz to deal with Exterminator. Is there something wrong with Exterminator? I'm wondering. They're not moving their blades going. But is there drive? I don't think so. Not if Terahertz is able to push Exterminator around and they're not even moving here, they're just stationary. I think there's a problem with Exterminator. I think somewhere in that collision with Tombstone, something's been knocked out and the drive is gone. I think Exterminator from that collision with Tombstone have become immobilized. And now Terahertz to maneuver, I guess, Exterminator. Getting them ready for their send-off down to the pit of oblivion. And this is all without a weapon, I should point out. You can just see it there, lying in front of the floor flipper, the axe of Terahertz. Sitting there doing nothing. But I guess Terahertz didn't really need that weapon. Down goes the pit with Exterminator on it. And that is the end of Exterminator as Terahertz spins into lights as they progress through to the Death or Glory. Well done to Terahertz. They made the Death or Glory in the Last Wars with Beta, and they've done it again here with terahertz. Well done, you've got some major repairs in regards to your axe. Hopefully they can get that repaired in time, but there you have it. Tombstone out the arena. And Exterminator, no idea what happened to them. I think their batteries just died and they now fall into the pit. Terahertz goes on through to the Death or Glory. And now it's time for the Silver Rumble with Storm 2, Mutant Flare, and Thermidor.
Robot ears, stand by.
Storm 2, the 6-wheel drive machine with the low wedge and the 4-bar lifter. Mutant Flare, the interesting design with the flywheel. And Thermidor 2 in the Silver Rumble again with the CO2 flipper.
3, 2, 1. Activate.
And they have been in the Silver Rumble before, back in Series 1. They crashed out to Chief Clunny due to poor driving and are seriously getting battered here by the flywheel of Mutant Flare. And I thought Mutant Flare could do well. I genuinely thought they could do well. And look at the fall there! You can see one of the wheels of Storm 2's gone. Well, one of the tires anyways. And I think another one's dislodged. It looks dislodged, and I think Storm 2 are struggling with their drive. Is Storm 2 fine? I don't think so! They won't be after that! Good grief! Oh, the tire's gone from Thermidor now! So that's gonna affect the drive. So the flipper's gone too! This is a lethal weapon on Mutant Flare! I thought it could do well! It looked like it could, and here, it's actually done it! It's destroyed Storm 2, the 4x lifter is stuck open, and it's battered Thermidor to where they've lost the wheel and their entire flipper. Now Thermidor's stuck against the wall. They need to get away from there and decide to go after Storm 2 for some weird reason. And they can't get off! The wheels! The little lip underneath Thermidor! It's pinning them off the floor! The wheels can't get any purchase! And they've been counted out as immobilized! Well, Mutant Flare spinning in the light because they know they have gone through. They have done brilliantly, taken out Storm 2, taken out Thermidor, and have made their way through to the Death or Glory. Well done, Mutant Flare. Definitely a machine worth looking at. This could go all the way here. Don't take your eyes off Mutant Flare, whatever you do. It won't be taking its eyes off you. It has too many eyes, honestly. So I'm a little bit scared by it. The Storm 2's been quenched and quelled. Thermidor battered and beaten and beached on its own accord. Mutant Flare through to the Death or Glory. Next up, Bunker, the Kraken, and TR3.
Robot ears, stand by.
Here we go, the Gold Rumble with Bunker, the front armored wedge, the Kraken with the pincers, the saw, and the little scoop, and TR3, a very impressive victory with their CO2 power. I can't get over it, it was so quick!
3, 2, 1. Activate.
Such a fast victory. Outwent Exterminator, outwent Thermidor in quick succession, and are now trying to pull the same thing here to the Kraken and Bunker, and could have actually had that, actually. Bunker up and over, they can drive both ways up, so that's not going to really affect them. The Kraken now pushing away at TR3, Bunker trying to get in, Bunker flipped up and over, and now TR3 are flipped up and over. And Bunker once again up and up. What caused them to go up and over? Did they just overbound? I don't know. Anyway, the Kraken seemingly on top right now. TR3 now able to self-right. I don't know why you fired again. Now TR3 underneath the Kraken and flips the Kraken up and over. And, well, we know the Kraken has the power to self-right, but are they able to? I don't think so. They almost had it there. We've seen them self-right before in Battle of the YouTubers against Behemoth. They flipped them over again and again. Is something up with that blade? No, it still seems to be working properly. TR3 underneath Bunker, who, in my opinion, hasn't been as spectacular as Barricade in the last two wars, I have to say. TR3 up and over again, and I mean pinned here by the Kraken, and the Kraken, a very strong machine, and now the blade coming down, and TR3 to try flip with a little elbow of Bunker, pushing them in, and oh, Bunker, well, TR3, they've thrown themselves up and over. Now they can. Oh, that's the. Look at the heights there. Look at the distance too. On the floor flipper and whee! Yeeters! And that nearly went out the arena. Now TR3, they can self-right from that, no problem, as they've done so here. But there is a limited gas supply, and I think they've run out. They don't have enough power to flip a machine up and over. They can't flip Bunker. And TR3 seemingly in trouble. They have a very low wedge, so they have that, and because of Bunker's ground clearance, that's a problem. There's something wrong with TR3 though, I wonder. One of their wheels doesn't seem to be properly working. The Kraken, what's happened to the Kraken here? Have they become immobilized? I think they might have, and TR3 ramped up the wall. Well, that's going to cause you problems, isn't it, TR3? There's no... Because without the power to get back onto the wheels, to get back down, you are finished. You're immobilized. TR3 are pretty much out of it. And I think it's safe to say, so is the Kraken. Bunker. Truth be told, oh, nearly saw their end there. But I think they'd be lucky there because of all the weight. But Bunker, in my opinion, haven't been as spectacular as we've seen them before with Barricade. Down comes the blade again, courtesy of Bunker. The Kraken counted out and immobilized long ago. TR3 counted out and immobilized. Bunker, they'll be going through to the heat final. But as I said, not as spectacular as Barricade. One final push as cease is called. And that's all Barricade, Bunker needs to do. They're through. Kraken, TR3, they're into the death or glory. And it's such a shame too, they did so well getting here. TR3 had one of the quickest preliminary battles we've ever had on Robot Wars. But Bunker's the one going through to the heat final. The Kraken and TR3, they're not out just yet though. They've still got a chance to redeem themselves against not only each other, but also against Terahertz from the Bronze Rumble, and terrifying, in honesty, Mutant Flare from the Silver Rumble in the Death or Glory.
Roboteers, stand by.
Death or Glory with Terahertz and their CO2-powered axe, Mutant Flare with their flywheel, the Kraken with the pincing claws, the saw blade, and the little scoop, and TR3, I think probably the more unfortunate one here, with their CO2-powered flipper. This would be a pretty interesting Death or Glory, I feel.
2, 1. Activate.
Also feel that flipping Mutant Flare is going to be tricky. There's the axe of Terahertz coming down. And again, and up goes the Kraken. And now they right themselves. And Terahertz, once again, bringing their axe down on Mutant Flare to hopefully do some damage. The Kraken wanted to get revenge on TR3. Just pushing them around. Meanwhile, Mutant Flare having a little tussle with Terahertz. Terahertz trying to avoid the flywheel, and wisely so, I should point out. There's the Kraken up and over, trying to right themselves. They're struggling though. Maybe they can't self-right. We saw them once, but maybe they're struggling with their CO2. Not CO2, their self-righting. And up and over, and back up. And has serious damage happened to the Kraken? Well, the little circular saw's gone. And they're not moving. I think that's a wheel there on the floor. I think that's one of Kraken's. There's another one there in the CPZ there. So I think the Kraken's wheels have been ripped off. I don't think they can drive anymore. And now TR3 are in trouble. And they're not moving. And have they taken too much damage from Mutant Flare, who's blasting their flywheel at them? You can find your flipper all you want, TR3. I don't think you're moving. TR3 in real trouble. And that is a shame. Down goes the pit. The Kraken's out of it. TR3, I'm fairly certain, are now fully immobilized. And now, oh! Damage done to Terahertz. One of the sides is gone. So that leaves the wheel in a very vulnerable state, which is not good. That's the axe head of Terahertz. That flywheel of Mutant Flare is very, very dangerous. It's an effective weapon, and it's all of a sudden no longer moving. You can just see it there. It's just stationary. I wonder why. Has something happened to the flywheel? Has something come off? Well, Mutant Flare seems to have better drive than Terahertz, but Terahertz can get underneath Mutant Flare. And now Terahertz using the Mutant Flare's design to their advantage with the pit and catching the wheel, and down goes Mutant Flare into the bed of oblivion, and that's them crashing out at the stage, unfortunately, with Terahertz going through to the heat final to join Bunker. Mutant Flare trying to roll back out. Not gonna work, boys. You're out. But it was a very good run and performance from Mutant Flare. Hope to see them back again in Series 4, as well as the Kraken and TR3. But they all have to sadly go home this time around. Terahertz is the one going through to the heat final to face off against Bunker, our 16th seeds, in a rematch from the preliminaries, who will come out on top this time around.
Robot ears, stand by.
Here we go with the heat final. Bunker, the front wedge and tough armor. It's supposed to be tougher than what Barricade had, they said. And Terahertz with the high-powered CO2 lethal cutting axe.
3, 2, 1. Activate.
Doesn't look dissimilar from Beta in the Last Wars, but the weapon seems more effective and more dangerous, as well as it's coming down on Bunker and striking the top armor. But it's not really going to do anything. That will, though, if Terahertz goes up and over, they can right themselves, but doing that will cause them problems. Bunker now trying to push away at Terahertz to no avail. They're stuck on top and thrown over. And there goes Terahertz now. Up and over again. They've helped right Bunker. Bunker pushing away at Terahertz, at least trying to. But the low front of Terahertz makes it so getting underneath it is very, very tricky. Terahertz back on the attack with the axe. Striking down at the top. And now, what can Terahertz do at the arena? A great attack from Bunker sees the end of Terahertz. There's the charge, there's the strike. Hammered over the wall. And it's Bunker through to the series semi-finals in a very, very strong performance. Well, as strong as it has been this entire heat, anyways. A very strong win and finish for our 16 seeds as they make their way into the series semifinals. Can they keep that up going forward? We'll have to wait and find out. But until then, take care, and I'll see you next time. Farewell.